everyone, welcome back to the Reckless Racing League. It's been a minute since I've made a video and I'm trying to eat lunch right now, so bear with me. But I want to go over our KOH race, King of the Hill. This race was designed to test drivers. It's make the faster guys go to the back of the pack and work their way through traffic. Let the slower, newer cars learn to deal with the pressures of having a faster car behind them. It's really good for everybody. It makes a better racer, and that way, in our main event, when we do the inverted start, it's not as big of a deal for people to have a fast car behind them. They'll learn how to, be patient, not hold their breath, hold their line, don't overdrive the car, things like that. It's a learning experience. Real quick, I want to go over the way we achieve the grid. iRacing hasn't been interested in creating an invert function that actually works for us. So what we have to do is do it ourselves. And how we accomplish that is we do a standing start, nobody goes, have the rear two cars split, go around the pack, rejoin in the front, and as the cars are pulling out from behind you, you tuck in behind them. This start had a lot of shuffling going on. The starting order, I don't believe, was correct, but it's not a big deal. This race isn't about, having a perfectly orchestrated event. It's just more about getting people on track and getting used to driving in traffic. So let's take a look at turn one. There's almost always carnage here. As you can see, there's already contact between the yellow car and Jack Kirk, and that made an accordion effect that knocked Gary Green up into Ampudia, and we got a big old stack up here. Jack Kirk winds up upside down. Right now, the number 10 car should be lifting off the throttle, but you can look at his tires. He's still pushing through. Sometimes that's what you want to do. Sometimes that's not what you want to do. That would be something in the future I'd like to see maybe back off a little bit. Don't just drive through the wreck, because most of the time you're just going to make it worse. There are a few occasions where you can make it better, but I don't think that was one of them. A lot of good close racing going on here. The lead car appeared to be fairly new to iRacing, and they took themselves out. It happens. That's one of the things you're going to deal with in this race. If you don't want to start in the front, I suggest you join in our fixed race, where the grid will be based off of actual qualifying. A little bit of contact stacking up here. It's bound to happen. I really hope people don't take it personal. It's a video game. Even though it's the greatest one in the world, it's still a video game, and there's really low visibility. I myself have a small monitor, and I can't see anything out of the car. I just have to drive by feel. So there's going to be contact. Light door-to-door contact is okay in this league. Right there, you could see another racing incident. We go 3 wide through the whoops. Don English starts to turn in, but that car was turning a little bit late, deflected Don out. Unfortunate for Don, but you go 3 wide through the whoops, that's going to happen, and he had no way of seeing them, and they couldn't see him. The number 10 car definitely does have a very aggressive driving style on here, and that's perfectly okay in short course, as long as you do it reasonably. You have to treat the other drivers like they're people too. Right there we had a little incident. It appears that the red and black car was going to the inside, and if you watch, instead of holding his line, he kind of drifts out a little bit right there. And I would put this in the fault of the red car, but he ends up taking the brunt of it anyway, so really no harm there, just something in the future. If you're going too wide off of that tabletop and you're on the inside line, you really need to hold the inside line, because it's so hard to land next to that wall on the outside successfully. You need to give that car room or back off. A little bumping and banging going on. That's to be expected. Short course, that's why they have full bodies and not open wheels, so you can throw a door here and there. There's definitely lots of different ways of making contact. Good solid 3/4 truck to 3/4 truck contact is good. Half truck contact can get a little bit sketchy. and definitely quarter truck contact is not something you should be doing unless it's by total accident. All in all, I have to say this has been a great race so far. Lots of good battles. This is exactly what it was designed to do. We got Douglas Rosenquist here. He's holding off a lot of fast drivers. And I know Douglas is a clean driver. He always likes to not scratch his car. He's very proud of his safety rating. Let's go back here and see what happened in the number 10 car. Looks like he got up on that little berm in the inside, traction rolled. No fouls there. Cam Peterson in that red and black car there is working his way up through the field from last place. A little bit of blinking going on. Cam lives up in Canada on the East Coast, I believe. I bet you their internet's pretty taxed up there at the moment. Looks like Douglas is going to tail slap Gary a little bit there. No harm, no foul. It's always a tough spot to make a pass on this track. There really are no good opportunities. Usually there's always some kind of contact unless the person in front just makes a huge mistake. But still, I'll say again, for as many cars as there are charging around this track of all different skill levels, I'm impressed so far with how clean this race has been. It could be way worse. I've seen races full of, you know, experienced drivers that were just a total disaster. Right here we have a little contact between, looks like John and Sean maybe. We'll go down, take a look. See exactly what happened there. John's coming in hot, lands, he bounces the front end up a little bit. When your front tires come off the ground, it really reduces your braking. And looks like he sent Sean for a ride there. I'm going to say this is John's fault. When you see that many cars starting to stack up in the corner, you need to start lifting off on that takeoff just a little bit. But you know, in this race, it's just bound to happen. If this were a race for money, there could be black flags at that point. But either way, I would call that a racing incident. It was not intentional by any means. Little banging come through the whoops. Looks like Cam got tangled up a little bit. A lot of new drivers out here. I haven't learned everyone's car yet. And it seems like anytime I get all the cars figured out, everybody goes and changes their paint. So we'll try to go by numbers if we can see them. Ooh, that was a nice pass, way down low, drifts up, closes the line on Douglas. Look at this pack of 4 cars here duking it out. Let's go down and watch that in action here. This looks like it's going to be cool. Short course poetry in motion right there. At this point in the race, pretty much everyone's truck has sustained some form of damage, which makes them harder to drive and slows you down a little bit and increases your odds of getting even more damage. So I don't know if you noticed, but I'm in the black number 188 car. I've been taking it really easy the whole time. In the beginning of the race, everyone was going crazy. I just kind of pulled off and let them go. Laid back a little bit, saved my tires, saved my engine. Wait for the second half of the race and then start pushing a little bit. Gary Green's going to dive up the inside there. That's a little bit of contact that I would say is generally legal, but he's getting a little squirrely right now. Maybe needs to let off. He's getting into cam. He's able to keep the spot. But no one says you ever have to let anyone pass you. Short course is a brawler sport, so if you like to brawl, brawl on. Just don't get upset if someone races you back as hard as you're racing them. Right now Cam's going to get a good run up the inside. He's going to close the door on him. Field's pretty much fanned out now, and a few battles going on here. That's what I like to see. I like to see multiple battles all over the track for any position, except for with lap traffic. I understand that if you're lap traffic and you start yielding to every single car, all you do is park and wait. So, you know, it's up to you at that time. But if the lead pack is coming through, or you see two cars in a pretty heated battle, you really should let them go and try not to interfere with it as much as possible. But that being said, make sure if you do pull off, you go in a good spot. The inside of turn 1 is a good spot. The outside of turn 2 is also a good one. You can use the outside of turn 3 as well. You just have to be careful on your re-entry. And you shouldn't get discouraged if you get lapped in one of these races, because these are literally the best guys in the world out here. And if you make a mistake, get turned around, especially on this track, you're gonna get ran down. And just keep on keeping on. Race, don't slow down. Just keep pushing. Find your comfort zone. Try to find some consistency. If you can catch up to another car, practice passing them. Or if you see a car just charging down on you and you know they're gaining tons of ground, which you should have your black box turned on and set to relative, especially in a race like this. That way you know if the car in front of you or behind you is on your lap or a lap up or down. And like I said, if you see a car charging up on you, maybe pull off, let them go, and then try to follow their line. And that's one of the best ways to learn. Right here's the incident between Douglas and Alan Ampudia. We'll go down and take a look and see. I know there were some things said about this one, so let's see exactly what happened here. Ampudia has the inside. Douglas gets a run around the outside and turns in a little early and gets into the side of him and chokes him up. I'm not sure if Douglas couldn't see him there and cut in, but I'm going to say that Doug kind of cut down on him to where he could have drifted a little wider there and ran the left side of that whoop section if he knew there was a car right next to him. So let's go inside the car here and see what his steering wheel was doing. So it looks like Doug's steering wheel was kind of turned into him. I don't think it was anything intentional, but I'm not going to rule that out as the number 10 car's fault either, because Doug can clearly see that he's there. So if that were me, I would have drifted a little farther left and tried to get a run towards the inside. Good battle still going on up front here. Oh, there was some big contact right there in the back bumper of Gary Green. I don't have control of the replay at the moment, so I can't go back and see exactly what happened there, but that's one of those spots where that happens a lot. Looks like we had some contact right there, that with the lap traffic. That's where the lap traffic, especially, that's the top three right there, the white roof, black and red and black, and then the red and black behind them in front of the green car is lap down. And when you're coming across that whole turn 4 tabletop area, it's really hard to get out of the way. Racing etiquette wise, right here's a good example of a what I would call a stiff door. So watch the pink number 10 car come in and hit the yellow and blue William Booth. So he dives way to the inside, lands on the gas to get that acceleration bounce, and basically uses William as a berm to turn, because if William wasn't there, he would have slid way deep into the corner. And basically does the same thing to Doug here. That's technically not illegal, but I would say that is extremely aggressive driving right there, and just not good race etiquette. That's something that is going to create hard feelings with people, and they're probably going to try to run you down and dish it back. So let's take a look and see what happened here. Got Josh Edmondson coming up on Gary. And once again, that car was a lap down. He was on the inside. He could have lifted and let both Gary and Josh pass, no problem there, and then got back into the gas without affecting the flow of the race. But instead, he stayed on the gas and took Josh out of the race. And also, I want to mention that myself, Jeremy Sodorf, John Bender, Josh Edmondson, and Cameron Peterson are all admins of this league. So they're people that you can talk to if you have questions about anything, but they're also eyes and ears on the track of how people are driving. So keep that in mind when you're racing with them, that these guys have some authority here to issue and clear penalties. We don't really give penalties because we don't have to. We like to keep a good group of guys here. And it's to where if you want to come in here and cause a whole bunch of problems every race, well, that's fine, but you're not going to be in the league anymore. There's plenty of other leagues out there that have penalties, and you can go race with those guys, try to see what you can get away with, but that's not what we're about here. We're about having good, competitive, close races. So another good KOH in the book. Great turnout. I appreciate everyone coming out to race with us. We're currently running 5 races a week. Check that out on our league member page or on the Discord. We have the schedule posted. Our Nordschleife race is really fun. It's on pavement. If you know that track or want to learn it, it's worth buying and joining us. It's an absolute blast. Good, close racing the whole time. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you at the next one.